Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CSTV. I'm your host, Kathleen. For the new members, kindly remember to subscribe and touch the notification bell so that the next time I go online, you can be able to get an alert. A big shout out to all of you who have subscribed. Oh yeah, we are on the road to 500 subscribers, and today allow me to appreciate Cartoon Finest Family channel. Those two beautiful souls are doing a wonderful job. They supported me. Actually, they gave me subscribers, and I really appreciate you so much for your support. Team Cartoon and Team Sharon, who are in this channel, courtesy of Sharon, may God bless you so much. And now, in today's discussion, guys, we are looking at the current wave of children banning their schools. Students have become something else. There's a wave of there's a wave of fire cases in our schools. We have seen some schools close, and even we have seen schools like Imuhoho High School, where the students tell the teachers that we don't want to ban the school, we just want to go home. Now, the question is, what is happening? Is it that the students are depressed? Is it that there's lack of discipline within our institutions? Is it that these students are being used by the personnel within the institutions to cause havoc? Is it a rebellious generation? Now, I do believe that the current wave of indiscipline cases in schools is actually as a result of failure by the actors in the education system. And when I'm saying about the actors in the education system, I mean the Ministry of Education, I mean the school system, and I mean the students themselves and the parents in general. And I also mean other stakeholders who are not necessarily directly linked to education, but their actions, their campaigns, and their calls for action indirectly or directly touches on schools. I want to start by the human rights activists. They came and told us that corporal punishment is abuse of human rights, is abuse of children's rights. So we eliminated corporal punishment and mostly other punishments that were regarded as not academic to the students. Now, I want us to put in this case, a student comes to school with 5-liter petrol, and as a teacher, you are not supposed to punish this student, or you are not supposed to cane this student. A student comes with a banger to school, and a student even beats a teacher. A student kills a fellow student, but the human rights activist will tell us that caning that student who has killed another student, who has burned down a school, who has beaten a teacher, is abuse of the student's rights. What these human rights fail to tell us actually that the student's rights ends where other people's rights also begin. And I think this is where the problem begins, that we let the children into the world of freedom, and we didn't prepare them on how to hold and handle this freedom that we accorded them. That's one. Secondly, there is failure on the side of parents. We are in a generation whereby our children are the ones dictating what they want to do and what they don't want to do. And as a parent, sometimes you don't even have the energy to argue with this young energetic kid who wants ABCD, and the best thing you can do is have it to avoid chaos. We are in a situation whereby parents are not spending time with their kids. Our mates are doing that, and if it's not our mates, our digital mates, that is the digital platforms, cartoons, online games, and so forth, are doing babysitting for us. These are the things that are keeping our children busy. Sometimes we even don't know what these people, all these young people, are watching online. And once a certain behavior has been inculcated in a child from childhood, it's very, very hard to eliminate it at adulthood. These kids have been exposed to violent videos, war videos, and they have seen violence as a way of solving problems. They have seen the most violent individuals in movies being the most glorified, being the heroes of the time. So why can't they be the heroes of the time using the same violence? And then we also have parents who directly discuss teachers and even talk ill about teachers in the presence of their children. We have wale wazazi ambao wanaambia walimu eti walimu hawajui kufunza, hawajui kufaa, mwalimu fulani asiguze mtoto wako, don't touch my kids. Instead of caning my child, just call me and tell me what my child did. Sometimes we say this while our children are watching and while our children are hearing. And how you present the school system before your child, how you present the teachers. If you present your teachers, the teachers of your child as garbage, as useless people, as people you can go and throw words at, that is the same mentality and behavior your child will call towards this particular teacher. Third, there is failure in the education system. There is failure in the Ministry of Education. We are giving our children more than they can bite. We are pressurizing them. We don't want to give them space. These children come home with assignments that when you look at them, sometimes you wonder whether this is a homework or is it a term work. We've put students like we are just pumping knowledge. We just want to pump knowledge. We don't want to give them a breather. For example, why can't we have we used to have up to 1 week half term. And half terms were really half terms. No homeworks, nothing. Where did this go? Why have we made our system so exam oriented that we focus on finishing the syllabus, we focus on meeting this deadline, and we forget that human mind is not actually a machine? So we are giving too much to these kids. They don't have a breather. And the only way that they can be able to run out of this system is to cause chaos. The same system has also given too much to the teacher to handle. A teacher is supposed to make a lesson plan, is supposed to make teaching materials, is supposed to make notes. There are so many things that a teacher is supposed to make for one lesson. And maybe this teacher has up to 24 lessons per week. He's supposed to check the notes, he's supposed to mark them, he's supposed to know which child has done, all these things. So the teacher literally does not have time to look at a student outside the academic circle. And what I mean about the academic circle, outside the class, the teacher doesn't have time to be concerned about what is your daughter or what is your son actually doing outside class. For him, so long as he has delivered in class, the performance evaluation forms have indicated that actually he was in class, he has covered his syllabus, that is what matters to them. So the social interaction between the student and the teacher no longer exists. And this has been facilitated because of the exam-oriented education system, the deadlines putting teachers under pressure. If you have not done this, then you face getting reprimand or letters and so forth. At the same time, the parents also don't want their children to be touched. So no teacher will want to be close to a student and in a state whereby maybe he will find him or herself in loggerheads with the parent. So we have sent the children to school, but basically these children are disconnected from the actors within the education system. These children are alone. They are making their own decisions. And finally, it's all about the peer pressure. You realize that one shoe like Kichomeka inakuanga sinafuatana. So our children are also following peer pressure. Wacha tuone ni akina nani wamechoma sana. It's also happening. So we have so many factors that are actually contributing towards hustling in our institutions. And I believe that there can be a solution. All is not lost. There is a solution. And this solution has to start by making discipline a corrective responsibility. Parents, teachers, and everybody involved. When the human rights activists come to shout and tell us that caning a student is abuse of human rights, they should also come and tell us how are we supposed to treat an underage daughter or son, 16 years old, who has set a school ablaze. Because you take this child to court or to improved schools, basically, if this child is presented before a court, he's a child, but already you see it's like life is going to be messed. But if we had a corrective discipline responsibility that could stop this child from reaching a point of setting a school at place, then it could help. So we need collective responsibility. Parents, we need to follow up what our children are doing. What do they do when they come home during the weekend? So do they interact with? Then at school, teachers need to be very keen with these students, and we need to see a student as just more than as just a client, and go beyond the student as a client to looking at a student holistically. What are they doing in and outside school? And this then calls for the Ministry of Education to loosen some of its regulations and policies concerning teachers. You don't give teachers over 1,000 duties and responsibilities to perform at a go. We need to loosen our requirements for a teacher to meet as a teacher in an institution, because teachers, the people who spend most of the time with these kids, and therefore we really need to create an environment that actually gives these teachers then a chance to mold these kids to better citizens. And also it's about the aspect of which kind of punishment then should be introduced in our institution and should not be in our institutions. For example, a child who goes to buy a petrol to come and set a school ablaze is not somebody you say that you will do grounding. Which grounding? That you will send that child to a corner and sit there to think about himself. No, it's not going to work. Irresponsible children or indisciplined children, let them be treated as indisciplined children. That is the only way a message can be sent to the rest of the students that actually banning schools, destroying property is not allowed anywhere in the country. But so long as these kids ban schools and then they go scot-free, nobody's expelled, then the fine applies to everybody, including those ones who actually were not involved in the destruction of the property. It's like we are, by the end of the day, concealing criminals in the institutions, and we are breeding a generation of criminals. By the time they reach 20s, they are the same people who are outside. They are taking guns and entering even into violent groups. So while schools are giving collective punishment that every child is supposed to pay this amount of money for them to come back, let them go further and find the ringleaders or the organizers of these strikes, those who get the petrols and so forth, and make sure that these ones are never, all are not within that particular institution. Either they are expelled or they face the law. That is the only way a message can be sent back to the rest of the students that actually indiscipline is not allowed. But so long as these people who organize strikes continue to be in the same system with those ones who are innocent and actually have been punished, yet they are innocent, trust me, strikes will not come to an end. I know some will say that what if it was my daughter, or what if it was my son? But you have to look at that. The only way to uproot or to save mangoes in a sack is to put away the worst or the one that is going bad, because you don't want to have a generation of young men and women who are crooks simply because you felt that your child is better, or your child should be treated in a better way than the rest, or your child was found with a mistake and you didn't want them to take responsibility of their mistakes. So for me is, yes, children are going back to school and they are being given fines. Yes, it's okay, fine everybody, because it's hard to say this one should be fine and this one should be fine. But after that one has been done, can we get to know in each school, these are the individuals who did this and this and this, and they let them face this law. And I agree that sometimes back when one of our ministers was saying that students who pan schools will not be given certificates of good conduct. I think that is the best way forward. Remind your daughter and son that he or she is busy panning schools, but he or she will never get a certificate of good conduct, even if he performed wonderfully in her examinations. So to the young generations of young men and women outside there, make sure that you don't land yourself in trouble by panning schools. The government cannot be panging a lot of money into building schools, and then you are busy panning down those institutions. Some students are studying under trees. They have not had the opportunity to sit in a class the way you are sitting in a class, and you are here panning these schools. So take responsibility, and remember that whatever you are doing right now when you think you are young and adolescent will get back to you when you grow old. Thank you so much, and you know what, keep subscribing.